Welcome to Sterling High School. Happy Friday. It is April 3rd, 2020. We are in week 3 of remote learning. I'm here with Mr. Sheehan. And Coach, how are you doing?
Doing well. 3 weeks into it, everything's holding up. Mentally, trying to stay strong, keep the family together. And I think it's one thing that we try to, balance, all administrators and all our staff. We're family people, we're parents. We're going through it too, but we also have to come in and make sure we're handling our job. How about at the Claybourn household?
Claybourns are doing well. We're trying to be creative, making sure we're getting those creative family workouts in, but they're getting their work done. We're proud of the efforts of their school teachers helping them out. So just wanted to say that first, the stay home, stay safe thing, we want to overemphasize that, but that we miss you. We miss our nights, we miss our staff, we miss our students, we miss you in a big, big way. So Mr. Sheehan, can you tell us what's next right now? What's been happening?
All right, so a little update. Some of the things that we're going to continue to do as we get into our Easter break here is we're still going to have our food pickup distribution every Tuesday from 10 to 12. We're going to encourage maybe grabbing a little bit extra this week because we don't have hours during our Easter break. So that's one of the nice things that we do have. Our building is open for essential personnel and educational purposes only. We do have staff coming in periodically, administration coming in periodically. So if there's an emergent situation where you need to grab a book or a musical instrument, please contact, use our website, use our resources there with emails. Please contact via email, and we'll be sure to make arrangements for you to come up and get whatever you need to be successful while you're on remote learning.
All right, very good. So we're about to approach the end of quarter 3. That's a big deal. So we have an academic responsibility was our key phrase we used last week. Right.
So this is a point we've been kind of looking towards. Students were instructed in class instruction for about 6 weeks. And these last 3 weeks have been remote, so it's been a balancing act, not only for the staff, but for the students as well. There's been a huge adjustment. What will happen if you have a semester course, you're going to take your quarter 3, match it to your quarter 4 for your year-long grade. But we're beginning the task of starting some electives and some mini classes with health that are really going to pose a challenge. So one of the things that we're going to promote, one of the things that we're going to change is those elective courses. All right, those electives are going to be pass-fail only. We spoke to our teachers. It's still a 70 and above is passing, 69 and below is failing. So that's going to be one of the changes as we move into quarter 4. And there's going to be quite a few others, and we'll touch on those in a minute. But that was, this is a benchmark for us. We didn't know where we'd be in terms of remote learning at the end of the 3rd quarter, but we're there, and we got to make some appropriate adjustments.
So just hitting on that accountability, again, April 6th is the end of quarter 3. April 6th, that is, so that's just next week. So parents and students should be on course, checking their grades, making sure that everything is submitted. You should be continuing to communicate with your teachers via email. And then parents note that report cards are going to be made available in on-course on the evening of April 9th. That's the update there.
All right, and if I could give you a question, I talked about the things that we're going to do the same, such as the food. Talking about social distancing and being responsible, we're making one minor change to our tech. Please explain that.
Okay, good. So yeah, again, stay home, stay safe, but our tech has done a fantastic job, the tech department, in getting all of their items done and responding to students. So our primary focus is to point to that email, the IT department at sterling.k12.nj.us. That's the main focus, is to go there. And they're going to troubleshoot as much as they can remotely via email back and forth. So make sure you're using that. And then, if necessary, they will schedule appointments to come on site to do what needs to be done.
Right. So what we want to try to avoid is avoid walk-up traffic. And what we've seen is with the walk-up traffic, maybe we're not recognizing social distancing, and when they get in to see our tech, maybe 90% of the problems, or the majority of the problems, can be handled remotely. So, as Mr. Claybourn said, step 1 is the email. Step 2, if it's worst case scenario, you got to come in, they'll set up an appointment, they'll schedule it for you, so that we're keeping you safe, but we're also keeping our tech department safe. So
yeah, and we ask for a report from our tech staff, so we collect the data. And again, a lot of the stuff that they're requesting for assistance could have been helped in a remote thing. That's not all of them. There are cases where you might need to come up, but again, the social distancing, and that's why we're moving that direction.
Okay, and I'm going to stay with some questioning here. So I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to ask Mr. Claybourn, as our, an administrator here, how's the administration? What's the practice of the administration? Because we're limited in our, access to the building. How are you guys coordinating your efforts?
Great. So we stay home, stay safe as well. We're available to come to the building as needed, or as Mr. Sheehan might need something. But the first thing we're doing is we are connecting via our email and via Skype. So every day, as you and Mr. Sheehan and I, every morning, it's one of the first things we start our day with, is connecting via Skype. So we have our weekly administrative meetings, but then beyond that, we've been connecting with our departments. So we'll have, for example, I work with the English department, and I've had a department-wide Skype meeting where we can all see each other's faces. That's refreshing, see how everybody's doing, and connect that way. We've also developed, continue to develop the communication on what the expectations for them are, because as we talked about, the adjustments that we're going to mention down the road impact everybody. This is stressful for teachers, for students, for families. We understand as administrators, we're on a conference call together and our own kids are interrupting because they have needs at home, and we recognize that that's happening both for our teachers and for the families at home.
All right, so Mr. Claybourn talked about Skype and communication between the administrators, and then in turn talking to the staff. So we value feedback. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our students, from our parents, and now we're getting feedback from our staff here. So the staff received a memo from the administration yesterday, which was Thursday. The community, you guys will be receiving an update on Monday about how we're going to change our focus here of phase 2 of remote learning, because we got to get better. We got to work hard. We got to get better. We got to get information to get better. So that feedback is important. So please keep offering it, and offer it as a positive way. But I'm going to ask Mr. Claybourn, as we go into phase 2, what can the parents expect to see different or changed here, and better, I'm hoping, for instruction?
Yeah, again, everybody jumped into this being at home, all in with creative ideas, but we found that teachers, and you probably found this at home with siblings, I know I have with my own children's and their teachers are trying to fill these 80-minute class blocks full of content, and it's just not reasonable. And so what we want to encourage our staff to do is to reduce that expectation, that we want essential content to be put forth to the students through their class notebooks, reasonable and meaningful lessons that are specific to remote learning, and with the understanding that there's a dynamic for all of us at home in this remote lifestyle. So something we're calling kind of phase 2 of remote learning. Again, we as an administration collaborated to develop this plan. We've connected with our teachers on this plan, and then we're going to communicate it, as you said, to the parents at home. But beginning when we come back after Easter break in April 20th, you should see a change in a little bit of that overall expectations from teachers to the students and what they need to do.
I think we're going to put a greater emphasis on participation. We want to make sure the students are engaged. But the one feedback we've gotten from parents is that the individual students being pulled in so many different directions. You could have a physics teacher that's doing a Skype at 9 o'clock, and the same thing with their calculus teacher at 9 o'clock. And they have to make that choice. A student has to come up here for a tech issue, and they're missing a possible instruction time with the teacher. So what we've established is kind of a set time. We notice the further we're getting away from in-class instruction, that routine, we're losing that routine. And that's human nature. I think kids are sleeping in a little bit, they're getting a little bit overwhelmed with their work. So hopefully we can reestablish that routine, make it reasonable, and really make a fair expectation on our staff and our students, and balancing that family time as well. One of the things that I'm trying to institute at my house is maintain that routine, but a healthy posture while they're working. I don't want my son and daughter laying down when they're working. Work for about 20, 30 minutes at a clip, and then take a break. Get a brain break, get outside, get some fresh air, but just get away from that monitor a little bit. So that's, I guess, the next thing we're looking at here is, as we're going into the Easter break, I've received some questions. We hear some school districts are going to work through the Easter break, and they're going to finish the school year a little bit earlier. What's Sterling going to do? And we talked as an administration, what can we do? And what we're going to do is we're going to honor the schedule. And I'm going to let Mr. Claybourn talk about some of the reasons that we may honor the schedule and the benefits that we see in honoring our schedule.
Yeah, the spring break's approaching, and we want to continue to maintain the school board-approved calendar as far as the spring break. All of this is taxing on all of us mentally, emotionally, and we've, again, shout out to our teachers who have done a fantastic job of preparing lessons, going above and beyond, connecting with students, and people are tired. We need a break from this, and so we want to overemphasize, as we've heard from our governor, and the president, to stay at home, to stay safe, and we want to use that spring break to do that. Stay home, stay safe, disengage from the tablet, take a mental break from that, because we have to be creative, just like you said in your home. Our home's doing the same thing of taking those brain breaks. Well, spring break is a natural space that we can take that advantage.
And if I could add one piece of that, if we were to come in that full week, we'd be done school June 10th. We would be losing an opportunity at preserving some of our school year if we do have a chance to come back in June, or late May. It's contact time. And that last week, we may be pushing some events and activities into that. We're scheduled to have our senior trip June 11th through the 15th. We're going to try to squeeze in a prom or a spring musical. If we were to finish June 8th, 9th, or 10th, that's fewer opportunities we have to make some of those changes. So again, we're holding on to hope. We want you to really take advantage of that break, get away from your monitor, your screen, unless you have some makeup work. But be recharged and refreshed for the last 8 weeks of the school year. All right.
Just following up on the synchronous instruction. So again, the Skyping, you see a lot of people are doing the Zoom calls, things like that, whether it might be Google Hangout or Meets. So that's something that we are not requiring. It's not something that teachers or students have to do. It's a great resource. Even when we meet with our teachers, you don't have to turn on that camera, any of those things, but if you guys are comfortable using it, we certainly encourage that resource. And that's why you're going to see after the April 20th, after we take our spring break, we are going to put out in the letter that comes out Monday where there's going to be scheduled times for block, as you said, where that way there's not a conflict of interest when two teachers are trying to make themselves available to students to be online or to be able to Skype, chat, whatever it might be through that.
All right, let's play a little ping pong here. So my first question to you is athletics. Where do we stand? Then you can give me one about some activities.
All right, very good. Athletics, NJSI made a statement just this past week, and they are committed to seeing student athletes on the field this spring. But of course, they know that we have to wait for the guidance of the governor on what that looks like. So hope is our key word. Hope remains, and we continue to have hope that we'll get out on the field. There is no permanent cancellation at this time. We just, as school is not in session, athletics is not in session. I did want to point out that we are going to begin to recognize intentionally our senior athletes this spring. So look for spring senior spotlights to come out from the athletic department. We'll be using the Twitter page to pump that out, and I'll send them to you and to the Believe in You. But we have hope, and I'm thrilled to report that student athletes are working out. Our spring athletes are getting workouts, skills and drills from their coaches on a daily basis on what they should be doing, and they're doing a great job.
Good.
All right, so yeah, there's hope, right? What hope do our seniors have right now? What hope do kids have about some of the things coming up?
All right, so this is a stressful time, and obviously people are making sacrifices all around the county, the state, the nation, and the world. So, part of those sacrifices is missing out on part of your senior year. But with hope in mind, unfortunately, our senior trip is scheduled for June 11th through June 15th. Our travel agent, World Class Travels, informed us yesterday, actually April 1st late. Florida is getting a lot of changes right now. They're going through some of the things we're going through. But the trip is still on, all right? And by April 21st or 23rd, they may make another statement on whether that trip is a go or not. So here's the deal that we sent out to the senior trip parents. Anybody wishing for a refund right now will get a full refund, which would be the money for the trip plus whatever the cost of the airfare is in a possible voucher. So we're talking about possibly $1,200 plus a $200 voucher, the full cost of that trip. And again, I'm guessing those prices. If World Class Travel says Disney's open, the parks, the hotel, bus, everything is open down there, but Sterling High School is not in school. We're not in session. All right, full refund. that 1,200 hours plus a voucher for the airport of about 200 hours. So you're getting everything back, but some of it's going to appear in a voucher form. If World Class Travels gets back to us and says, we're a no-go, again, full refund, 1,200 hours plus 200 hours of an airfare voucher. All right. If World Class Travels is a go and Sterling is back in school, we participate in the trip. All right. So I think it's the best case scenario. It's a wait and see, unfortunately. We can't have anything solid here or concrete, but World Class Travel is going to do the best they can communicating to Sterling High School their intent or viability of the trip. And it seems that that refund potential is there, which is assured for us as well. When it comes to the prom, all right, we lost that date of May 1st. We're looking at some dates in June, but the vendor right now really isn't taking reservations because they just don't know what their status will be 1 month from now, 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now. So we're going to try to hold a position there that we're in line to get a date. If things go well and we get back into school, maybe we can solidify that date and have some of those experiences. You know, we're starting to talk about graduation, and mentally we're not there right now, but we're hoping to be back in school and have a graduation. If not, we want to come up with some kind of suitable replacement for that. And again, talking about our schedule, you know, the activities such as a spring musical, man, if we can get back into school and pull that off, you know, those days in June may be, you know, the reasonable time to do that.
Going back to our admin meetings, we are meeting regularly, and we are going to be prepared for no school, in school. We're going to add as many events as we can with that hope, and so we have a plan that we're developing for all options that we can entertain and provide for our students, for sure. Right,
like Mr. Claybourn said, you know, we miss not having the students and staff here at Sterling High School. It's why we got into the profession, is to interact with one another, and you know, no matter how good this device is, you know, and the teacher across from it, you miss out on that one-to-one connection, that in-face connection that you're going to have every day when you walk into a building. So we're hoping to have that opportunity again before long.
It's a great point, just transition. This is a solemn, somber time. People are becoming impacted very close, and so I wanted to take a moment to recognize those people that are out there on the front lines defending us and our families. So just shout outs to first our own medical personnel at Sterling with Mrs. Messino, Mrs. Platt, our school nurses, Mr. Clank, those people that help us every day. But some specific shout outs. Our girls basketball coach, Coach Kylie Marchese, is out there working in the field. We have numerous staff that have spouses that are working in the field. And then I have a special one to shout out to Miss Tori Shinkowitz, who's a Sterling grad, huge, excellent student athlete, soccer and lacrosse player. She's in Brooklyn, New York, in the heart, the epicenter of our country, working hard, and it's heavy.
It's heavy, for sure. You know, and you know, we miss out on little things, you know, everyday things. I got a shirt on here. I don't know if we can get it. There we go. All right, it is April's Autism Awareness Month. Autism Speaks, Light Up Blue for understanding and acceptance. So this is something we would generally try to put out there in the month of April. I'm sorry, I might have said August, of April. So in your own way, if you can recognize that, I think that goes a long way for people in general, all right? But I think it brings people together as well. So again, the message we always have is that hope, okay? Keep doing the things that you got to do to stay healthy. Have those healthy habits. You're going to hear it time and time again. I just can't stress how important it is. Wash your hands. Try not to touch your face. The social distancing. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but boy, it makes a big impact. Maybe not for you, but when you go home to a parent, grandparent, guardian, aunt or uncle, you know, you might be bringing something in towards them. So, you know, they're talking about, you know, potentially putting people in face masks and things, you know, whatever it can do to protect you, please abide by that. And then the big thing is pass along accurate information. You know, the rumors, the innuendos, they're not very helpful at this time. So, you know, go to COVID-19 at nj.gov, go to our own website. All right, we have a COVID page or a coronavirus page, and then we're going to keep updating that. So please use responsible resources. So, you know, we're in this point where, you know, we're 3 weeks in. It looks like it's going to be a long haul here, at least through the month of April. The message that I'm always going to give from Sterling High School is be safe, be well, and be Sterling strong.